First of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing funds.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD
I
or
got
something.
calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Come on, Lou Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
the
an
kind of
erratic
Mikhail
detective,
Rodriguez.
is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? No, Gildarie, you deal with that. You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Gildarie, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Hello there, welcome to the Freddie Kissoon Show with co-host Leonard Gildarie and Akash Prasad. As you know, Leonard Gildarie is away on medical treatment, and we've had Akash Prasad, former Chronicle marketing manager and someone who's been with the print media or the Chronicle for a long time. We are going to do something unusual this evening, but there's always a first. And the reason why we're going to do it is obligation. If humans do not have obligation, we're going to live in the laws of the jungle. We've asked two Islamic personalities to come and share their thoughts on genocide in Gaza, but we did not know on Monday, because we were doing the interview, we did not know that the physical integrity of the program was compromised by lack of audio and a hissing sound. The feedback we got is that the program was bad. There were extracts for the hour that you could get, but the free flow of the two Islamic personalities were curtailed, and we have to ask them, we have to be grateful for them to come back to do the interview. So in our obligation to them and to our viewers, this is a brand new interview program with Maulana Tasdeeq Aabidi of the Islamic Al-Mustafa Islamic Trust, and Neil Bacchus, someone that my wife knew since he was 5 years old. We had a very good discussion on Gaza, and we will not continue that. We will start anew, and we will flow freely. There will be no repetition of the questions. There may be, but we're just going to flow freely. Now, Maulana Tasdeeq did say to us in the last program that he was educated in Islamic scholarship in India and Iran. Almost all of the Islamic scholars we had in this program ruminating on genocide in Gaza were educated in the Middle East itself. Iran is in the Middle East, but not part of what we will call the wider Middle East. But maybe Maulana will tell us if he counts it as part of the Middle East. But all of our Islamic scholars were educated either in Saudi Arabia, Syria, elsewhere. Maulana Tasdeeq was educated in India and Iran. So I will ask him about his experience there, and then Akash will ask Neil Bacchus about his evolution into Islamic scholarship, and then we go right into the analysis of genocide in Gaza. And I think the last time you were here on Monday, there wasn't a decision to attack the last remaining enclave of comfort, of safety for the Palestinians, Rafah. It seems that the world is now finally becoming attuned to the Israeli government and the Israeli army is intent on genocide, is intent on killing 2.5 million people in Gaza. So we will take up the discussion. We hope there's no hissing sound and the audio flow freely for the protocol, and then we go to the education of Maulana Tasdeeq. Maulana, I'm not a Muslim, but Assalamu alaikum. Neil, and my wife knows you a long time.
Assalamu alaikum to Freddie. Assalamu alaikum. I want to share something with you quickly, Maulana. In all my life, I've never done any protests or demonstrations or anything like that. And when there was one being done for the people of Palestine, it was a privilege of mine to stand with Mr. Kissoon. And we walked through the streets of Georgia, and Brother Bacchus was there too, I think. And it was, as they were saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Mr. Kissoon, who is not a Muslim, was saying Allahu Akbar.
I just repeated about it, but I am married to a practicing Muslim. For the past 45 years, yes. And all her brothers, sisters, cousins are practicing Muslims. So I married into a Muslim family, but I'm a bad boy. I'm a stray boy. I grew up in Hindu house, but I went astray. I went astray into philosophy, but I do respect people's religion. So, Maulana, let me get this clear. You weren't born in Guyana.
No.
You were born in the great country of India.
Bangalore, India. South India.
Oh, that's the westernized part.
Silicon Valley, people call, and it is somehow modern.
Tell us about your life in India and then in Iran, the famous inheritor of the Persian Empire.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much for inviting me for this program. I hope that the outcome of this program is beneficial for ourselves and all our august viewers. I studied both in India, and after matriculation and some Islamic studies in India, I went to the Iran and I did the graduation in Islamic culture and Islamic sciences, and then the post-graduation in Quranic interpretation and Islamic philosophy. And of course, I not only stayed and educated in Iran, and after that I traveled extensively and more than around 25 countries, including the countries in the Middle East. Like I traveled so many times to Saudi Arabia, and I've been in Iraq too, and also I traveled to Jordan and Syria, and I went to the Southeast countries, Southeast Asia, and some countries in Europe and here in Caribbean. What I found, the method of education while I was in Islamic seminary in Qom, it was a bit eye-opening. They were not limiting you to go through the only courses they offer. They give you privilege to dig and do the research. And fortunately, 8 of the libraries we have there in Islamic libraries is very famous in Islamic world. They have like hundreds of thousands of Islamic books. Almost all the book you can find there, and plus the teachers, which I had the privilege to be with them. None of them limit the time. Even I had the privilege to have a special course in the house of one of our teacher in the holidays. So while I was going there, and he was providing the lunch and teaching me without asking anything in return. So that is the culture, what we inherited there and what we learned from the Persian culture. They mingle with the Islamic culture. They have like around 3,000 years of the Persian culture and heritage, plus the Islamic influence. And that combination, definitely the one who goes there enjoys being with them. After the Islamic Revolution in 1979, things were moving towards Islamization. Though Islam was there embedded and engraved in the minds of people, but the ruling government was not Islamic. It was westernized, the puppet of the American Shah's regime. But after revolution, you see many things which was un-Islamic before. It was banned totally, and they are trying to make the country 100% Islamic, but see, calling 100% is not so easy. So implementation of these things are a bit hard, but it's compared to many other Muslim countries, you see Islam is very strong and have its root there. I privileged to have the Persian language. I can say that my second mother tongue I can consider is a Persian language. Fluently I can read and even I can write articles and books, and I can deliver the lectures in Persian language. And I also, because of traveling in Arabic countries and our courses, some of the books in Arabic, so I can manage the Arabic language as well. By traveling different countries, you see the different cultures, different mindset of the people, and dealing with our work as a missionary, as a Islamic scholar, you deal with different sections of the society. So from doctor, from engineer, from layman, from anyone, barber, anyone comes to us with their questions and with their problems, especially the family issues I'm expert on. And so here in Guyana, I'm privileged to have the certificate in the officially marriage officer here too. So we try our best to counsel our younger brothers and sisters to strengthen the family. The family is something Islamically is very strong, that once you strengthen your family, you can cut down many of the problems in the society. So that was my privilege, and we hope that with this information I have, I can touch what is the reality going on there, because I've seen all those countries physically in Syria, in Jordan, in Iraq, and Iran, and Saudi Arabia, all those countries. So we hope that we can discuss something which is beneficial for all of us.
Neil,
Neil,
Akash,
give us a little bit of your journey in Islam. You've been born a Muslim too, but what are some of those memorable moments you have of growing up and where you are right now? What was it that you stand for?
Well, thank you so much. It's nice to be here. In Guyana here, I born in the Islamic faith. My grandparents influenced me from the initial stages as a Muslim, way down from the Mahikaguk area, and the Hussein family is one of the family I belong to. That's on my mother's side. my father's side, we were born in Georgetown, but then we moved around and so on. But from a very early age, we started to go to the masjid. For many years, I was part of the Kitty Masjid. While in high school, I was the president of the Islam Society of my school. And then I went on to university. At one time, I held the VP position there. But in my late teens and so I became more affiliated to an organization called the Muslim Youth League of Guyana, which basically promoted Islam on a cultural perspective. And we would have had some of the biggest cultural programs in Guyana over the years and so on. But as you get older, you get your work and things start to move in a different direction. But Islam was always part of me. For over 30 years, I have served the Guyana Elections Commission also, way back from 1994. I guess presently. And then I've been working for the past 11, well, I would say 13 years with one of the constitutional agencies, it's the Indigenous Peoples Commission. But through my affiliation with the Muslim Youth League, I became an integral part of the Inter-Religious Organisation of Guyana. Today, as alluded to, I'm the secretary of that organization. And through that organization, I was able to benefit, as is known, from a fellowship in interreligious dialogue and culture. And the whole idea of that training, it basically gives you the tool how to hold dialogue session, especially with regards to the promotion of different faith, while the end game or the end result should be toward peaceful solution. That training gave me the opportunity to travel. One of the first, since it was the training was extended to persons in the Caribbean and Latin America. One of the first in-house training here was in Argentina, and whilst in Argentina, I had the first time I ever had an interaction with the Jewish community, because Argentina has a very strong Jewish community. We went into one of the churches and so on, and I think that from that moment, it tells you that the whole idea of religion and what it means to people, at the end of the day, all of us may come from different faith, but this whole understanding of peace is critical to our well-being in society. Subsequent to that, I went on to Portugal twice to participate in the training, and going into a youth country to see the support the Muslim community receive in Lisbon there. It teaches you the importance of how Muslims would have evolved and how they can able to, be happy in the space they're given because of what they do, especially love for humanity and so on. Last year, I followed through with an online training, and I also benefited from 13 days experience in Turkey. With that training was more or less a different training in terms of the existence and meaning. And the whole idea was teaches us that science and Islam never really go, science and religion never really go hand in hand. But if you look at things from a scientific perspective and we look beyond that, then we could realize they have to have something that, create these things and so on. And that is the whole idea was to also understand the existence of God, among other things. We're going to Turkey also. That was an experience, because at the back of your head, you know, Turkey is supposed to be an Islamic-oriented country, but it was a total Western country in terms of, almost every corner there's a masjid, but, people dress, they're not that Islamic, and people not dressed Islamically as you would expect, among other things. So, again, those experiences taught me, and it gave me the whole idea that we in Muslims, despite wherever we are, our actions are universal. And something very interesting about Islam, Muslim pray 5 times a day, and in that period they usually recite the opening verse of Fatiha, and it is a 7-verse line. And from an understanding, it is said that is the most recited verse in the world every single day, because so 1.2 billion people praying 5 times a day and reciting that verse or that phrase, chapter 5 70 times a day. It tells you, or even if you don't, it's 70 times a day and even beyond that, it tells you that Islam is a religion that is connected across the globe. And my experience in at least with other parts of the country, even in the Caribbean here, we have through the religion of through the Inter-Religious Organization, we affiliated with Religion for Peace, which was able to connect us with the religious community in the Caribbean, and again we see the similarity.
Okay, so
just I want to add one thing
before we go to genocide.
Yes, we both are working with the Inter-Religious Organization. Currently, he's the secretary of Inter-Religious Organization, and recently I was doing the Christianity course through the Bible Experience program, and I completed the basic and also the advanced level, and next week I'm going to exam in South Korea. So we are not unfamiliar with the Christianity and Hinduism and Judaism and other religions, because it is our work to see the similarities and try to bring them together.
Well, I'm sorry our program on Monday got spoiled, because you were very articulate with genocide. And I like the point you made that, look, the people of Israel are not supporting genocide. It's the Zionist administration, the Zionist government, and the Zionist army. Now, Maulana, since you've been here last Monday, it looks something terrible is on the horizon. They are now going to the last place of refuge, Rafah. And I can't see how the world can accept that. That may be the last straw before the world intervenes.
Actually, they did mention that the place where the people living in the camps in a terrible situation without having potable water, without having medication, hospitals are totally destroyed, schools are no more, and even the food they are fighting for. And in that situation, just to survive, they moved towards the south and in Rafah and in the bordering area. And it was supposed to, according to the Zionist regime, it was supposed to be a safest place. So they drag people in that corner so they can safeguard themselves, and so they can bomb the other parts of the Gaza. And now they are attacking in the same place where people think that they are safe in that area. And that is something which even the other countries, even Western countries, they are shouting it is not acceptable. But we like to see beyond the shouting. They have to do some practical intervene that, as I mentioned before, that they have to stop aiding, they have to stop arming the Israel, the regime which is killing children and women who are nowhere to go. So that is something unacceptable by anyone. And what my concern is, if we leave this to happen, then we are passing the message to other criminals in other parts of the world that you can also do the same. So that is something very terrible.
It has to be one of the most infamous occurrences in the history of human civilization that a country of 9 million people, not 40, not 50, not 160 million, a country of 9 million people occupying 8,000 square miles, which is a little piece of Guyana, and they are creating genocide. I studied philosophy and I studied world history. I tell you, Maulana, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Why is the world accepting this? Who is Israel? What is Israel to be doing this? This is not a country of 40 million people that the world depends on trade. What has Israel got to give the world?
Actually, if you read the history of mankind, it's going to similar situations from centuries. Read the history, what these colonizers did in Africa, what they did in Southeast Asia. Read the history of Philippines. More than 1 million people, they lost their lives. In Algeria, more than 1 million people slaughtered brutally. And in Congo, in different parts of Africa, in South Africa, which everybody know about how they dealt with, in Indian Peninsula, right, in Caribbean. So it is not new what is happening. And what is difference between what they did before and now what they're doing is that everyone has the camera in their hand and the social media working very good. And it will even sometimes supersede the mainstream media. What mainstream media is hiding from people, because they have their own agenda. What they want, that narrative only can come in mainstream media. So the social media is now superseding. The best example is now recently Mr. Tucker went to the Russia, and he did the interview. Just imagine, 40 million plus people watched that interview. I don't think any mainstream media had that much coverage and that much viewers. And it seems that people are in search of truth, people in search of reality. They don't rely upon the mainstream media anymore. So this is ongoing process. You see why Israel is elected there, the colonizers together, their interest to control the resources of that whole region. You see, more than 70% of the resources of the world lies on that belt in Middle East. So they want to control that resources and control the policy, and by that way, they want to control the whole world. So that is the main thing. Otherwise, if the Israelites, they had the problem in what they call Holocaust, it was in Germany. So Germany can give a good piece of land, or Europe can come, and if they are sympathizing with them, they can give the piece of land right there. So they can live peacefully together. And what they call, they are advanced people, highly literal and culturalized people. Why not you live together? Why you have to put in a place where every day they have to fight for their existence? And why they have to, in a survival position, they can live better and let the people of the natives, whether they are Muslims, Christian or Jews, whoever, natives in Palestine, live peacefully as they were used to live from centuries. So even America, who is spending billions of dollars just to, it's something that a layman, an ordinary person who is not a politician or philosopher can understand this. You can give a place there right in America. America is a big, around 50 plus states. You can give one state to these highly culturalized people, so you can live together and let people live there peacefully. So it's not just sympathizing with the Jews or some set of people over there. It's the agenda of controlling over the resources of the entire Middle East, and through that they want to control the entire world. That is the agenda. And if they want to kill millions, recently we saw this. It's not something the old history. In Iraq, what they did, they claimed that they have the mass destruction weapons. So far, they were not able to find any shred of the evidence. And what they did in Afghanistan, they wanted to fight Taliban. 20 years after, they surrendered to Taliban, and they called them, and they hand over to Taliban and left the country. So more than 1 million people, they lost their lives, and so many infrastructure they lost, and so many people misplaced. What happened to that? And what they did in Libya, you just count. It seems that it's never-ending crime. They are doing it continuously, and that is one of the series of their crimes. So what I appeal the entire world, especially those who were victim before, like we have to applaud the South Africa who took the case to the international court. Yeah. Now the whole world who were already victim before, they have to come together and they have to stop this forever. So let at least the coming generation can breathe peacefully without having any problem. This is the only way. We have to stop. See, we are promoting peace. We are promoting the coming togetherness, the brotherhood. You can promote this, but how you can promote? Without justice, without fairness, you cannot achieve peace. If you commit the genocide against one set of people, and you call peace, that is not a peace. That's sugarcoating the words. So if the world really want to go towards peace, they have to be fair, they have to be just with everyone. Live and let everyone live should be our motive.
Akash?
What I've noticed in recent is that a number of countries have come out and says, look, we're not going to support this offensive on Rafah because this is going a bit too far now. Some of those countries are the USA, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia. Their voice of concern. I also acknowledge the fact that you say it's not just about voicing your concern or saying it; it's about doing something. Again, when I look, for me, the person that does not want to is not intended on ending this is Benjamin Netanyahu, because as long as a ceasefire is called or this ends, immediately there will be claims of genocide and he will be held accountable. There will be investigations and it can't be done right now at this time. Benjamin Netanyahu is intent on keeping this the way it is because it is said even within the Israeli political realm that his political career is almost at an end now because of this. I believe that Benjamin Netanyahu is keeping this going because this is the only lifeline to his political career. Do you share this view?
See, Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever he intends, but who is letting him to do so? Tomorrow, if I come and I want to do something, everyone, whole world should let me do everything? So here is not one person's interest over entire world. That is what you're claiming. That one person can do, because of that one person, the entire world should suffer. So why not this world stop? I'm not mentioning that go and kill the Netanyahu. Stop aiding the criminal. Why you are sending troops after troops and sending
more money recently,
more money, ammunitions and everything, and it seems that it's American war, right? So why you are doing so? So just stop supporting. You don't need to even call for a stop. They automatically will stop. And talking about Egypt took all the tanks and heavy ammunition to the border, and before they attack, the government of Egypt said clearly, openly, that if you attack Rafah, we are not compromising our border issue. Unfortunately, they attack already, and we are not seeing any missile coming out of that Egypt. What the problem we are facing here is these big folks, they are the one who controlling Egypt and Jordan. People may not agree with this. People have anger, but what people can do? While governments are compromising and they are doing what is in the interest of Israel and in the interest of West, so what people can do? This is what exactly happening. Even Saudi Arabia and Turkey, these people, they are claiming that they are supporting the Palestine, but we are not seeing any action which says that it's supporting Palestine. Rather, we see the actions supporting Israel, while the Ansarullah in Yemen, they stop ships going to Israel from the Red Sea. It was a discussion, and I don't know if it is implemented yet or not, that they want to open up a new corridor from UAE through the Saudi Arabia and Jordan to Israel. And ships are going in a daily basis from Turkey. And I heard yesterday, I read the news that even one of the ports in Egypt is facilitating these ships as well. So unfortunately, these governments are puppets, and they are working in the interest of Israel and its allies, and people are crying. They have nothing to, they are not capable to go against these governments.
But what power this man has over all of these nations that making them support him?
It's not one man. It is entire entity. This is the interest of America and Western allies.
Question. Neil?
It is not one person.
Neil, where is this going to lead us? The attack on Rafah.
Well, as I said, while the resources...
The attack on Rafah has begun.
Yes, already. Yeah.
While the resources perhaps was the initial and the agenda for the Israelis, they seem to enjoy what they're doing. in terms of the wanton killing of people, of civilians, not army people, civilians. And because perhaps of this enjoyment, that is the direction they're going on with Rafah. And they were not going to stop until they clear the entire Palestine. And the compromise we're talking about, why is this has to happen? But you see, the political system, everybody believe that world power and the power behind world power should be the only power, right? But what about God? What about the belief in God? And what God is going to dictate and what God wants? But little do they know, when we look at the stories in the scriptures and so on, there are many people who were persecuted, but with the belief in God Almighty, the day of salvation will come. And we pray and hope that before this thing escalates further, God Himself would manifest Himself in such a way to offer protection. Because every single day, the Muslim world is making dua. The Muslim world is praying. The Muslim world is doing things, seeking God's blessings upon for His protection of the people of Rafah and the people of Palestine.
Hezbollah isn't joking around. Hezbollah doesn't play. Hezbollah said that there's going to be a war.
This morning I read the news that the crossfire between Hezbollah and Israel is escalated, and I think the intense war is going on right now. And they warn Israel that if you go that route and Rafah and kill the more civilians there, we are going to escalate the war. So I think it is hard for Israel to fight both fronts at a time. And plus the people in Iraq and Syria and also in Yemen, they are also looking for some other actions. And we don't know in few days ahead what may happen. But as he mentioned that definitely the spiritual power is greater than the physical power, the material. Always it supersedes, spirituality supersedes, and it is mentioned in Quran clearly, Kam min fi'atin kathiratin ghalabat fi'atan, kam min fi'atin qalilatin ghalabat fi'atan kathiratan bi'idhnillah. Many tiny groups, with the permission of God Almighty, they defeated the larger groups. So that is what exactly happening. The Hamas is a very tiny group. It's not a government. It's not something they officially having the country or military or these things. They're a tiny group. Hezbollah is also, again, is a tiny group. Ansarullah is, though they have the country now, it's not the whole country. That is, they consider as they just came out 8 years of war and bombing, and it is under sanction. And that is also considered as a tiny group. And again, in Iraq and in Syria, not the governments fighting, they are the tiny groups who are opposing this, and they are in the interest of Palestinians, they are coming into, and they are losing so many lives. And they consider that as a martyrdom, and that is something blessed by God Almighty, that this is what we are blessed with. And what I think that if they go further, these all the groups, if they come together, and I think it's a hard time for Israel and its allies. And we hope that with this intense killing and genocide, the people in other Muslim countries, especially in Egypt and Jordan, in Saudi Arabia and UAE, if they come out and they shout, and in fact the Qatar is doing well and trying to facilitate the peace talks, and already it did some of the hostages that they released, and some of the hostages from Israel were there in Israel prison, they also released, and they are trying. But I don't think with this mindset in Israel, what we have, Qatar can do much. And I think the Islamic world should take a harder step. And I think Iran is recently the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran had a trip to both the Lebanon, Qatar, and the Syria, and they are trying to do some different actions compared to previous days. And we hope that something comes out of this result.
There have been a long enduring distance between Turkey and Egypt. They weren't getting on for a long time now, but now the Turkish president, I have little regard for that man, Erdogan. He's what we call in Guyana, hold me, loose me. You know what? That man, you can't put
180 degrees swift.
Yeah, you can't. That man is abominable. One day this man says something, he will force the Netanyahu as Hitler. And the next day, what I want to ask is, do you think that meeting with between Egypt and Turkey, there's going to be some military movement supported by Turkey on the border, so Israel wouldn't go?
I don't think any military or any effective things comes out from Turkey and Erdogan and in Egypt, because Egypt is a bit playing just like a puppet. But there is a news that Iranian government is working with Egypt, talking to Egypt, and that is something worrisome for Israel. That if they are able to change the mindset in Egypt and give the assurance that if you come out from that alliance, we can assure you from this side that you will be safeguarded. And that is a big time for Israel and its allies. So we hope that it happens. But see, they're trying their best to influence in the mindset in some of the Muslim countries who are in a Western bloc. You know, it's not one day, it's more than some decades we see that they are playing with the Western blocs, and they are in the Western bloc. So shifting all of a sudden to Eastern Bloc is not so easy. You know, they have to consider of their economy, they have to consider about their this one. But in what is happening in Russia and China, and a little bit swift of the policies from the Saudi Arabia towards China and Russia, and also the normalization of the relationship with Iran, we hope that if they get some assurity that they can safeguard their country and from the attacking from the Western Bloc, I think that's a game changer. But I'm not seeing in a short period that will happen. We have to just hope. And I think what Ansarullah in Yemen doing is more effective than anything else.
You mean Houthis?
Houthis, yes. The group called Ansarullah. Houthis is a clan, it's a family. What is the name? What they call is Ansarullah. And unfortunately, mainstream media is not mentioning that. And Houthi is a small name of the clan, of a tribe. It's what they call is Ansarullah, is a group like Hezbollah and Ansarullah in Yemen. They, because they targeting their economy. You see, the West consider economy more than the human lives. You see, what is happening in Gaza, more than 30,000 people lost their lives. It was not concerned. But some of the ships stopped going from Red Sea. That was a big concern. So the ships are more important than the human values, human lives. That is the Western, unfortunately, mindset. So I think that is more effective. And they were trying to stop Ansarullah by bombing and these things. I think it's too late. Bombing Ansarullah. Ansarullah already used to, more than 8 years they received the bombs, and they know how to safeguard themselves. And what you see in tunnels in Gaza, 10 times of that Hezbollah is stronger. And if you consider Hezbollah, 10 times of that Ansarullah is stronger.
Another thing too we have to look at is that you see these countries, well, in Israel in context, it's supported by America, and that's the power that is supporting them. These other countries, though, if they attempt to not support Israel, indirectly or directly, they're going against America. And nobody wants that, especially from the economic perspective. So on one hand, you have the political power and the political interaction. But then with this small group, that's where the spiritual power comes in. And we pray and hope that the spiritual power will be able to play that role in protecting those people.
Okay.
Look, let's... And if you realize, I respect the gentleman, that what I'm trying to get really is trying to understand why is it that this is not stopping? Why is it that nobody is stopping this? Let's look at America and Joe Biden. Is it that Joe Biden is trying to please a set of people in his own country who may not re-elect him for a government? But then Joe Biden also has the younger minds. The independent thinkers in America who are coming out and across the world. It's happening in Australia, in England, in Netherlands, you name it, every part of the world is happening. The younger people, independent people. As a matter of fact, there are even Jews in America who came out in protest against what has happened.
Quite a lot, yeah.
Yes. So is Biden trying to protect him, that small block older block of people who were talking to him, people within his own party who will go against him should he go down this line. But Biden also has to be worried about a large voting population of Arabs in America also, people from Arab descent. Is Biden playing a game that he doesn't really know how to? What is your thought on this? And I mean, we're looking at the geopolitics of it all.
What I think, who is the decision maker in America? What my reading says that it's not the president. If you think that the Trump comes after, these things will stop. Mm-hmm. I think it's more than that. It's the lobbies working behind. Mm-hmm. They are the one who are the real decision makers. So don't worry about the Biden and Trump or whoever. America as an entity, as a country, is more than supporter to Israel. And I think Israel is America and America is Israel, if you call, is nothing wrong. What I feel the solution is, it's very easy to understand. It's nothing nanotechnology. The Western philosophy and Western slogan, rather, I should say, that is that democracy has to prevail in the world. Freedom of speech has to prevail in the world, right? That is what they're working for. They attack Iraq, so they wanted to establish the democracy, right? They attack in Afghanistan, they wanted to establish the democracy. So that is their claim. So let the democracy prevail in Palestine. All the natives, whether Muslims, Christians, Jews, whoever living there, let them come back, settle there. The international entities should facilitate them. Have the referendum or have the elections, whatever they decide, let them decide and live peacefully. And even if they decide that the settlers who came from different parts of the world, we allow them to remain here, let them remain. I think that is even two-state solution is not working anymore. So you asking like two states always fighting with each other, and one side is having every privilege and other side having nothing. The same stories will continue. And you see that what the Hamas did, maybe the other organizations may emerge and they may do the worse than that. So if
you think that will happen with a two-state solution? The Palestinians want their state man to live like everybody else. They have
Israel as whoever is claiming to have two-state solution never facilitate Palestinians to have a state in the meaning that they have all the facilities of a state. The history is with us, more than 67 from now is 50 years. What happened? Nothing came out of that solution. So the same thing will continue. That's the word is deception. Two-state solution is nothing but deception. And world knows about it.
You sure the Palestinians would support that position? They want their state.
They already went this road. They already went and they experienced that there is no other way other than resistance. That's why the Hamas came out. The PLO head, the Yasser Arafat, sacrificed his whole life for this. But finally he realized that no, it's just deception. They are not allowing a Palestinian to have their own state. So this is the better solution.
What about the intervention of the world? The final realization of United States and the EU that, look...
I have to ask, what do you mean the world? Who is the world here?
Well, okay, I take that point because realistically you're talking about the EU and the United States.
So the same thing.
What about if they finally say, well, look, this thing is going to go on forever. You have to give the Palestinian a state.
If the victims of colonizers from across the globe come together and stand and then hold a block like BRICS and these may support them, and then only, without having equal power, you cannot survive. This is for Palestinians. If the power emerge in a way that, like Iran is trying to do so, like convincing these Arabs, these countries, to really support Palestinians, have the referendum, give them chance to make the decision. And we are not against Jews or Christians or whoever the native Palestinians, let them enjoy their freedom, let them have their, under the United Nations and other supporters come and have the elections, and whatever the outcome, let them live peacefully. So I think it's not a nanotechnology. It's very easy, but the world you're talking about, they are not letting. They are the part of the problem, not the solution.
So you don't see a two-state solution after the second genocide in the 20th century?
It's not me, I'm not seeing. It's experience already. People already gone through this experience. Two-state solution, meaning what? If you really give chance to Palestinians to establish a state, in the meaning that they should have army, they should have weapons, they should be free with having contract with any country. They should have the airports, and they should have free to have their own passports and everything, the movement. Then we can talk about it, but what they mentioned is not materialized.
After this war, you don't think that will be on the cards?
We hope that, I think after this war, what I'm thinking after this war, maybe the better solution, which is what I mentioned, the elections, and let everybody live together with one country without having any problem. That is the better solution.
But the question has to be asked also. This killing of the people is one thing, but the destruction of the country is the other. When this war is over and so on, who's going to help to build back this country? Let us say Israel wants now say, okay, we will help, but in helping, they help themselves to part Palestine now, because that's exactly what they were going after. What happens then? Where will the Palestinians get the
No, there are Muslim countries
and get the support and so on?
Muslim countries, they have enough resources to build back. That is not a big concern now. The concern is having the political support and the strength they can establish a country. The building back is not a big problem. There are many Arab countries, they have the
super rich to help.
Super rich to help. It's a part of it. It's not a big deal. The problem is they have to establish the country first. They have to allow to have their country in that meaning, not just the name of the country, not having anything. Everything should go pass through with Israel, which is your enemy. You cannot have that. So this is something a layman is understanding. And it's not, the problem is not understanding. The problem is they don't want to understand. They don't want to go through the solution. And they want to have the Israel as their entity to control over the resources in that region. Otherwise, the solution is on the table. It's not a big deal. Within a day, you can call off all and have the solution.
Let me ask you Akash.
No, go ahead, Mr. Kissoon.
I wanted to ask you this. Israel is hell-bent on not allowing a country, one of the great countries in history, 700,000 square miles, 88 million people. Its neighbor of 9 million people and 8,000 square miles decide it would not allow Iran to have a bomb. If Israel should attack Iran, wouldn't that be the end of Israel? It's 88 million, a nation of 88 million, 700,000 square miles. The army has to be 3-4 times that of Israel. And there's military conscription in Iran. So there's going to be a huge army.
Let me tell you this. I was there for more than 11 years. 45 years Israel is threatening Iran to attack. If Israel had capacity to attack Iran,
they would have done it
already, long back. So the other thing is, one of the commanders in Iran, he mentioned long back, he said that Israel plane can come to Iran and maybe bomb some areas. Iran is a big country. But what is the guarantee that return back to Israel and find the Israel? So that's a big word, It's a commander in Islam, is the Republic of Iran. He mentioned this long back, a couple of years back. So now Iran is different than that years. Now Iran is supporting the Russia. Just imagine why they had the war against Iraq. Iraq and Iran had 8 years of war. I was there in some of the years. I saw some of the missiles coming just in front of me. It was Iran. The countries were not giving a barbed wire because you may use it in the battlefield. So sanctions were there. And now the world is, what we call world, they're saying that Iran cannot export the weapons. And now the war between Russia and Ukraine, one of the reasons Russia is upper hand is Iranian support. They claim, and I don't know the reality, The Western media says that Iran is giving them the drones, which is game changer in Ukraine war. So if you imagine the Iran is supporting a superpower, Russia, to game change the war, then it can do anything to Israel. So I don't think these things can happen. And I think Israel should consider the reality, the ground level fact that those days gone, you do the Nakba and catastrophe and nobody knows and nobody talk about it. But now there are many people who can understand and talk, who have sense, and also they can stop.
But it has to be braggadocio, what we call braggadocio, that you have 9 million population and you telling a population with 88 million whose army is about 10 times. I mean, let us say there's a huge influx of tanks and planes in Israel. Where are they going to keep that at 8,000 square miles? Iran is very mountainous. Those people can...
I'm telling you this. The Israel depending largely upon the artificial intelligence and technology. And that 7th of October proven that it is failed. A tiny group, Hamas, who had no much weapons and technology and support, they were able to penetrate and made the country in chaos. So that is the reality, ground level fact I'm talking about. But you can talk, you can say any word, but it cannot change the ground level fact. So I think this turning point, and I'm sure the Israel cannot go back to pre-7th October. This is something they are also well aware of this. The whole world is well aware of that.
Before Akash come in, Neil, you want to say anything before Akash comes in?
Well, I mean, Maulana said it all, and you know, it's unthinkable to think that Israel has this power. But as I said, we just got to pray and hope that one of these Arab countries really gets its act together.
All of them.
I mean, all of them. It's very sad to know that the leadership of the Islamic world is in Saudi Arabia. And they themselves has really, but
that's where the holy shrine is.
Yeah, but they have to look on the other side of the coin of the relationship with America and all and the relation and the influence America has over these Arab countries. So you know, but we hope and pray that good sense prevail and this war comes to an end soon for the benefit of the people of Palestine.
Akash?
Maulana, this is a bit graphic in some ways. I have looked and seen pictures and videos of children and women blown to bits and pieces and smithereens. Has the world gone blind? When I say the world, and I'm talking about, you know, in its entirety, because you're talking about the people, you know, that there has to be everybody has to come out and support. Are they not seeing this, or what is stopping people, man?
I see the maturity in the minds of people, and up to a level that I see the difference between the governments and the people. You see, every weekends we have the protests in America and Russia, in London, in Australia, in different parts of the world. And I think gradually people are understanding, and they are understanding that the authorities who are unfortunately, they are in the position, they are not the one who can find the solution. So the people are coming out, and I think it is the responsibility upon the civil societies, intellectuals, and scholars. They have to come. And we had two protests here in Guyana. So we cannot assume that, okay, this is the part America is every week people are demonstrating, even Jews. They are demonstrating for Palestinians and against Israel and against this genocide. So you just need to be human to support this cause, not necessarily to be Muslim or part of any organization. We had two protests here in Guyana, and I think that is not enough. We have to do more. And protest means what? Giving some sense of understanding what is going on. So if tomorrow something happened here, God forbid, never happens. But if something happened, what do you expect from others? You expect that they have to sympathy with you, they have to support you. So if we are not lending support now to Palestinian brothers and sisters, then how we can expect others to support us in future?
Another thing too, I mean, you are from the media, you understand how the media work and the impact the media has, right? Again, perhaps those same videos you saw with those children, were you able to say it? Or how are we able to say it? It's not necessarily through those mainstream media. It is through other people and others' resources and so on. And then when those things were highlighted, the bombing of a hospital, the slaughtering of children, what did those mainstream media was with CNN and all those things? Were they focusing on that? They were focusing on other things to distract the minds of the people. If they themselves has carried that stories and those mainstream media carried that stories, what was really true to what happening, perhaps that itself would have been a weapon that to force the government and the administration to take a more proactive approach.
If previous centuries are not recorded the history properly, then this time is the different. So every action of every entity is well recorded. If media is not playing its role, then the coming generation will blame media too.
Well, a few years ago, a couple of countries fell because of social media.
Exactly.
You know, when stuff came out of social media.
Yeah, the revolution in Egypt.
Yeah, in Egypt, yeah.
People, social media.
It was social media that caused that.
Yeah, social. But Maulana, how is this? We've asked this question over and over again. Now that they're in Rava, what is your take on how it's going to end? Is it? Do you think it's ending now? They go to slaughter people in Rafah and then withdraw, or do you think they're just going to stay there and keep killing people?
The problem is the Israel when he went to Gaza, they mentioned the three goals: one, freeing the hostages, evacuating the people from Gaza, and destroying the Hamas. And unfortunately, for Israel, none of these three goals achieved. So Israel, to end this, they want any card. So far, what the card they had was killing of children and women and civilians. And they hoping that if going to Rafah and killing more children and more women, they may find some of the hostages there. And if they find some of the hostages, they may feel that, okay, we can convince our people, so we got a card, so then they can stop. But the mindset of Israel never stops. The criminal who committed crime from around a century, more than 75 years, you think that they all of a sudden they stop, so somebody has to stop them. You have to talk to their own language. They are not understanding this language, so you have to talk their own language. I think the Ansar Allah is talking the good language, and Hezbollah is talking the good language, and that language they will understand very well. And the whole world will come and they will see the Security Council will organize the meeting, and the UN suddenly quick works and everything works. Once you have to speak to their own language in the field, then you will see all these entities will work faster. I think that is the only solution we have to find.
So with this Rafah thing now, there's going to be a intensification of the Red Sea attacks, and Hezbollah is going to intensify, is going to make life miserable in northern Israel. I think
exactly.
So that
it's already happening now.
So we have an intensification then.
It's already intensified. Most of these cities in northern Israel is evacuated, and all of them they are living in camps and hotels and other places. That is another huge expenses for Israel, and it cannot. If it could go like this for maybe a couple months, then Israel cannot survive. How much they can spend, how much they can survive. But this end, they will survive because they have the accustomed to that. But that other side is not accustomed to that life, so I don't think it's they can manage.
I think when you look at Yemen and Lebanon, those people are so battle ready. They're so it's not easy.
This is a huge difference. See, the person from Lebanon and Ansar Allah goes to the battlefield not to safeguard his life. They go to achieve martyrdom. The other side is come to fight to safeguard himself and for money and some other materials. There's a huge difference between these two mindsets.
The operator signal our time has come. I see your son is in the studio with his Islamic garb. Is he a shy person, or he wants to come and say hi to our viewers?
I don't think it's necessary. On its own time, he will come and give a good interview for you.
Okay.
Maybe better than me.
He doesn't want to come and show his face.
On his own time.
In his own time. Well, look, tell me something. When the Palestinian chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they don't do that in English. They chant it in Arab, right?
Where?
In Arabic?
In Arabic. When they're shouting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they say that in Arabic, right? How do you say that in Arabic?
They have their own slogans. It's not necessary to have the similar slogan, what we have in Western world. They have their own slogan, Gaza, Gaza. The slogan, the Allahu Akbar, and they say that the An-Nasr lana, Al-Fathu lana, like this. They have their own.
So that's equivalent to what we say.
Yes, the victory is with us, Allah is with us, and Gaza, you will be survived, like this. They have the slogans in Arabic.
Well, thanks a lot for being back again.
And also this one, the equivalent to Min al-Bahri ila al-Nahr. Min al-Nahr ila al-Bahr, they say, from river to the sea.
Okay.
Say that. Say
it again.
Min al-Nahri ila al-Bahr.
Min al-Nawi ila al-Bahr. I can say it, and I'm what you would call me.
Freddie, you're everything.
But say it.
In al-Nahri.
Min al-Nahri.
Min al-Nahri.
Ila al-Bahr.
In al-Bahr.
Ila al-Bahr.
In al-Bahr.
You can say that, Neil.
al-Nahri ila al-Bahr.
It was enjoyable and a learning experience doing this again. We apologize for the spoiled program on Monday, but I'm sure our viewers will enjoy this evening, and we have to have you back again. Maulana?
Thank you very much.
Allahu Akbar.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. You were watching the second interview, another second interview. The first interview with these two Islamic scholars was spoiled because of technical problems. So we had to do it over again. And as usual, we learned a lot, and I'm sure people looking at it learned a lot. We will see you on the coming week. We'll see you on Wednesday. As I normally say, catch you later. Bye-bye.